Beloved chosen one, listen carefully. This moment is not random. Heaven has interrupted your timeline to speak directly to your spirit. You are standing in the middle of a sacred test, a divine fire meant to refine you, not destroy you. The pressure surrounding you is not punishment, it is preparation for elevation. What feels like breaking is actually God molding you for a destiny that money cannot buy and trials cannot shake. Every sleepless night, every door that refused to open, every disappointment that made you question your worth, it was all part of a holy pattern. You have been walking through what others might call failure, but heaven calls it formation. The silence you've endured has not been neglect, it has been divine strategy. For when God hides, He is shaping something deep within you that cannot be shaken by applause or approval. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Zechariah. Chapter 13, verse 9, I will bring that group through the fire and make them pure. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people. And they will say, the Lord is our God, with term, chosen one. That verse is your mirror. You are the one being brought through the fire. You are the one being refined. You are the one whose name heaven calls beloved. Do not mistake purification for punishment. God is ensuring that when the blessing comes, you will not crumble under its weight. Right now, the pressure is high because your promise is near. You've been asking for a breakthrough, but the Lord is giving you something deeper capacity. Before wealth comes wisdom. Before abundance comes alignment. He is teaching you to stand in faith even when logic collapses. To speak light even when surrounded by darkness. To trust Him even when everything looks uncertain. The enemy wants you to believe this is the end. But heaven knows it's the beginning of your elevation. The same fire that terrified you will soon become your testimony. This trial is not the evidence of God's absence, it's the proof of His nearness. You have been chosen to carry something rare, and rare things must be refined carefully. You may feel weary, but this weariness is not weakness, it is the final stretch before your wings unfold. You will not just survive this test, you will rise from it with gold in your spirit. Every moment of silence is pregnant with purpose. Every delay is downloading direction. Every struggle is sculpting strength. God is proving your heart in private before He promotes you in public. That's why certain things had to fall apart. That's why people had to leave. You are not built for imitation, you are designed for impact. Heaven is setting you apart so that when your breakthrough arrives, no man will claim credit for it. Do not despise this furnace. This is where your millionaire mindset is born, not in comfort, but in challenge. The heat is forming endurance. The silence is sharpening discernment. God will not give you the wealth of nations until your heart can handle the weight of nations. And beloved, that's exactly what He's doing, strengthening the inner structure so your blessing will not collapse. Soon, what was heavy will become holy. You will thank God for every no, for every delay, for every heartbreak that forced you to grow. Because when your breakthrough arrives, you'll recognize the hand that prepared you. This is not a test of your pain tolerance. It's a test of your trust capacity. Hold fast. Chosen one. The same God who called you is walking beside you. The flames around you are under divine control. They can touch everything, but they cannot destroy you. You are emerging stronger. purer, and ready to reign. If your spirit bears witness that this word is for you, if you feel that divine stirring inside saying, "This is my refining moment," then seal it right now with an act of faith. Type 777 inches the comments as a prophetic declaration that you will not run from the fire, you will rise through it. Like this message, share it with another chosen one who needs to hear that their pain has purpose. And subscribe so you won't miss the next revelation meant to guide you through your breakthrough season. The fire is not your ending, it's your anointing. The fire may be fierce, but it's forming your future. You are stepping into a chapter where purpose meets provision, and destiny meets divine wealth. Heaven is aligning your name with unstoppable favor and supernatural restoration. Your testing has an expiration date, and your breakthrough has already been scheduled. Every delay you've endured is turning into acceleration. What once broke you will now bless you, multiplied and overflowing. Rise, chosen one. Lift your head high, your crown is ready. This refining fire is not the end, it is your unveiling. You are moments away from the manifestation of everything God promised. Chosen one. When heaven grows silent, it does not mean you have been forgotten. It is the stillness before divine movement. It is the pause between what God promised and what He is about to perform. Silence in the spirit realm is not punishment, it is incubation. You are not abandoned, you are being observed. Heaven is watching how you wait. You have prayed, fasted, believed, and yet there are days when your faith feels unanswered. You look for signs, and all you see is quiet. But remember, silence is the language of trust. God is not ignoring you. He is working beyond your sight. When He stops speaking, it is often because He is shaping what you prayed for into something far greater than what you imagined. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 37, verse 7. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. This verse is your anchor in the silence. You are not meant to compare your journey with others. Their movement does not mean your stillness is failure. God is not late. He is exact. You are in divine timing, and the silence is part of the orchestration. Sometimes heaven goes quiet because you have already received the last instruction needed for this season. The next door will not open with more words, it will open through obedience. When you obey what God already said, you activate what He has not yet revealed. Silence is where you learn the sound of your own faith. When you can no longer hear His voice, you learn to trust His character. You begin to understand that His delays are not denials but divine setups. He is testing whether your worship is built on His presence or His performance. Chosen one. The silence is teaching you to mature. In the noise of life, it's easy to believe when everything aligns, but true faith is born in quiet rooms. In moments when heaven doesn't seem to answer, and yet you choose to believe anyway. That is where unshakable trust is formed. Do you remember the disciples on the stormy sea? Jesus slept while the waves crashed. They mistook His silence for indifference, but His silence was assurance. He knew they would make it to the other side. So it is with you. God's silence doesn't mean the storm will win. It means the outcome is already secured. If you could see what heaven sees, you would understand the stillness. Behind the silence is movement, angels positioning favor, resources aligning, hearts being softened, opportunities being prepared. Heaven is not idle, it is active in mystery. And when the silence breaks, it will not come as a whisper but as a wave. Doors will swing open effortlessly. The thing you prayed for will find you. The waiting will suddenly make sense. You will realize that God was not withholding. He was weaving your story for His glory. There are divine reasons for this quietness. It protects you from premature exposure. It allows your roots to go deep before your branches spread wide. The silence is not punishment, it is preservation. It ensures that when you step into the spotlight, your spirit will not shatter under success. You may feel that God has paused His conversation with you, but He is not done, He is deepening it. Silence doesn't mean the story has stopped, it means the author is still writing. He's working in unseen chapters. Every hidden moment is adding weight to your testimony. So rest. Chosen one. Rest not in outcomes, but in assurance. Rest knowing that what God promised cannot expire. What He spoke over your life is still alive, still growing, still moving toward fulfillment. This season of quiet is heaven's classroom. You are learning patience, trust, endurance, and discernment. You are learning to differentiate between His absence and His intimacy, because sometimes silence is how He draws you closer, not with words, but with presence. When the time is right, the silence will break like dawn. The sun will rise on your situation, and everything hidden will burst into light. You will see why He delayed, why He closed certain doors, why He allowed the waiting. You will thank Him for not answering too soon. For now, hold your peace. Stand still. The silence is not rejection, it is reverence. God is preparing to speak again, and when He does, His voice will shift your entire reality. So keep your heart open, your faith steady, your spirit quiet. The silence is not the end of your story, it is the sacred breath before the next miracle. When heaven speaks again, it will not be gentle, it will be glorious. Every unanswered prayer will echo with purpose. The silence that once confused you will soon confirm your calling. Chosen one, wait well. What feels like a pause is actually positioning. God is preparing your stage, your voice, your victory. The stillness now is the sound of something powerful, awakening. Chosen one. Every trial you faced has been a classroom. The lessons were disguised as losses. The teachers came in the form of heartbreaks, and the curriculum was written in pain. But heaven never wastes a wound. Each moment of sorrow, each betrayal, each disappointment has carried instruction. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 11 and 12. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father the son He delights in. You have been learning through divine correction. The hands that stripped you of comfort were the same hands protecting your calling. God's discipline is not rejection, it's direction. The pain you've endured was the price of revelation. Every time you asked, "Why me?" Lord Heaven was silently answering, "Because you're chosen." The hidden curriculum of pain is not about suffering, it's about shaping. You have been forged in the fire of misunderstanding, strengthened in the valley of delay, and purified in the storms of rejection. The world sees your scars, but heaven sees your syllabus. You were enrolled in the school of endurance, where tuition is tears and graduation is transformation. You may think your heart has been broken too many times to heal, but look closer. Those cracks are where the light now shines through. Each heartbreak has enlarged your capacity to love. Each disappointment has sharpened your discernment. Each loss has stripped away illusions and left behind wisdom that no book could teach. Chosen one, pain has been your tutor. Every betrayal taught you to guard your peace without closing your heart. Every delay taught you to trust timing over talent. Every closed door trained you to see rejection as redirection. The lessons were never about loss. They were about learning to see through heaven's eyes. Sometimes God allows pain to break the patterns that comfort built. You were never meant to live in predictable cycles. Pain interrupts, awakens, and reroutes. It reveals what must be released and what must be reborn. You prayed for purpose, and purpose often comes wrapped in pressure. You asked for growth, and growth always stretches before it strengthens. Look back for a moment. Can you see the divine threads woven through your story? The people who walked away made space for destiny to enter. The opportunities you lost made room for better ones. The seasons that felt like failure were the very soil where your faith took root. You didn't lose, you learned. It is in pain that prophets are awakened, leaders are formed, and warriors are trained. Comfort creates complacency, but pain cultivates power. You've endured what others couldn't, not because you're unlucky, but because you're chosen. Heaven trusted you with the weight of transformation. There's a pattern in your suffering, an unseen design. You have been learning to hear God not only in blessings but in bruises, not only in laughter but in lament. You've discovered that even silence has a message, and even sorrow carries a seed. Now the season is shifting. The lessons are complete. The trials that once humbled you will soon honor you. You will teach from the very pain that once silenced you. What once felt meaningless will become your ministry. The tears that watered your pillow are about to water your harvest. Chosen one, you've graduated from pain's classroom. You carry divine understanding now, wisdom paid in blood, prayer, and perseverance. This is why your next blessing will not break you. You've learned what others never did, how to praise in the pain, how to trust in the silence, how to rise from the ashes still worshipping. And though you didn't see it then, God was smiling through every tear you shed. He was proud of your endurance, of your refusal to quit, of your ability to keep your heart soft when life turned hard. You've passed the test. Now heaven writes approved across your name. If this word resonates deep within your spirit, pause for a moment and comment, I receive wisdom. Those 3 words are more than a phrase. They're a prophetic response. You're declaring that every hardship will yield fruit. Every wound will birth wisdom, and every loss will lead to light. The hidden curriculum of pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. And now, revealed you is ready to rise. When you comment, I receive wisdom, you are not just typing words, you are aligning your spirit with heaven's frequency, declaring that pain will no longer control you, it will cultivate you. You are saying, Lord, I choose revelation over resentment. You are breaking the cycle of confusion and stepping into divine understanding, where every tear transforms into a tool for destiny's construction. By writing, I receive wisdom, You publicly affirm what heaven already knows, that you are ready for promotion. The test is over. And now the lesson becomes your legacy of light. Chosen one. The wilderness is never the end. It is the bridge between calling and crown. When God leads you into a season of scarcity, He is not depriving you. He is developing you. The wilderness is not punishment, it is preparation. It strips away everything that competes with His voice until only purpose remains. You stand now in the same place where every great vessel of destiny once stood. Moses had his desert, David his caves, Elijah his lonely mountain, and even Jesus faced his wilderness. None of them were left there forever. The wilderness is temporary, but its lessons are eternal. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. Chapter 8, verse 2. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you would keep His commands. That is what your wilderness has been, God discovering your depth. In comfort, obedience is easy. In dryness, it becomes real. You are being taught to depend on His presence rather than provision, to trust His promises more than visible progress. In the wilderness, God removes your crutches. The people you relied on fade away. The sources you trusted dry up. The familiar paths disappear, not to abandon you, but to remind you that He alone is your source. When everything else stops working, you finally recognize that heaven is still working. Chosen one. The wilderness is sacred ground. It's where distractions die and revelation is born. It's where pride is stripped and purity emerges. You learn that you don't need the crowd, you only need the cloud. You discover that your prayers grow louder when no one else is listening, and your worship becomes truer when no one else is watching. You may feel lost, but you are actually being located. God is positioning you for a higher altitude, and isolation is the elevator. He is teaching you to hear whispers in the wind, to see guidance in the quiet. The wilderness amplifies what the world tried to mute. It is in this solitude that your spiritual senses sharpen. What once confused you now becomes clear. What once drained you now feels distant. The wilderness reveals not only who God is, but who you are without the noise of the world. You begin to see yourself through the eyes of heaven, refined, resilient, royal. When God called Israel into the wilderness, He called them out of slavery. Freedom always comes with unfamiliarity. They left Egypt with gold in their hands, but bondage in their hearts. The wilderness was meant to change that, to detox their minds from the comfort of captivity. You too are being freed from the need for control, from the addiction to approval, from the illusion of self-sufficiency. You have prayed for blessings, but blessings without wilderness break people. The desert disciplines the soul to handle abundance with humility. It teaches gratitude in lack so that wealth never becomes arrogance. It shapes character so that success will not destroy it. Chosen one. You are not lost, you are in training. The silence is your syllabus. The dryness is your development. When manna falls and water flows again, you will carry gratitude that cannot be shaken. The wilderness is building your capacity to sustain what's coming. And make no mistake, something is coming. The wilderness always ends with revelation. When the test is complete, when your heart is proven faithful, the cloud moves. Suddenly, doors open that were once invisible. Suddenly, connections form that no effort could manufacture. Suddenly, you realize that every hardship was rehearsing your heart for harvest. You will walk out of this season lighter but stronger, emptier of distractions but fuller of power. You will leave behind the dependency on yesterday's sources and walk confidently toward tomorrow's supply. You'll know how to move at heaven's rhythm, not man's. Do not despise these days of dryness. You will soon discover that this desert holds the blueprint for your destiny. Here, where there is nothing to lean on but God, you are learning what true trust feels like. And that trust will become the currency of your next chapter. So, breathe in the stillness. Let the wilderness finish its work. Do not rush the process. Every step counts. The desert does not last forever, but it always leaves a mark of maturity, depth, and divine dependence. When you emerge, you will not be the same. The wilderness will not have weakened you, it will have weaponized you. You will carry the memory of manna, the lesson of drought, and the strength of silence. The voice that once cried for rescue will soon command authority. Chosen one, this is your wilderness before wealth. You will exit it with wisdom, humility, and unshakable faith. And when abundance arrives, you will remember this place not with sorrow, but with sacred gratitude, for it was here that heaven made you ready. Chosen one, every test reveals a motive. Every delay exposes what truly drives the heart. God is not only preparing you to receive abundance, He is preparing your motives to manage it. Before He releases a flood, He checks if the vessel can carry it without leaking pride or greed. The divine audit of motives is never comfortable, but it is always necessary. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 21. Those who cleanse themselves from the latter will be instruments for special purposes, made holy, useful to the master, and prepared to do any good work. That is what's happening inside you right now. Heaven is purifying your intentions so that blessing will not become bondage. God is asking you quietly, can I trust you with more? Because when your heart aligns with His, increase will no longer feel heavy, it will flow naturally, like a river knowing its path. Chosen one, this moment of reflection is your mirror. Every time you worship, every time you give, every time you serve, heaven looks not at your hands, but at your heart. God doesn't count what you give, He measures what you keep. He is not after the offering in your palm, He is after the posture of your soul. You see, divine wealth is not about numbers, it's about nurture. When your motive is love, your giving becomes a melody that reaches heaven. When your motive is gratitude, your generosity becomes a fragrance that fills the throne room. And when your motive is obedience, even a small seed becomes mighty in His hands. Think of your journey as a field. Every word you've heard here is a seed planted deep within your spirit. Some seeds take time to bloom, some sprout instantly, and some wait for the perfect rain of faith. You don't owe the soil anything, but when your heart feels moved to water it, that's when growth accelerates. To like or share this message is to pass a flame to another traveler lost in the dark. It's not a task, it's a torch. When you do, light multiplies effortlessly. To subscribe is to pitch your tent beside this flowing river of revelation, returning whenever your soul is thirsty for more. It's not a click, it's a covenant to stay close to the current of truth. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, Do it as one who waters a tree whose fruit will feed strangers. Let it be your quiet yes to heaven's whisper. There is no pressure, no demand, only invitation. Giving is not a price you pay, it's a river you join. When your heart flows, heaven notices. Imagine this space as a garden. Each message is a flower, each revelation a fruit. When you water the garden, you are not paying for the fruit, you are ensuring that others will taste sweetness too. Your giving is not an obligation, it's participation. It's the quiet agreement between your heart and heaven that says, I believe this soil bears life. When you sow into something that feeds your spirit, you honor the one who planted it. Giving is not loss, it is alignment. It's the act of saying, Lord, I trust you enough to release what's in my hand, so you can release what's in yours. There's beauty in this divine exchange. When you share, you extend grace. When you like, you affirm light. When you subscribe, you stay connected to the stream of revelation. When you give, you plant eternity into motion. But remember this, you are under no pressure. The invitation to support is not a demand, it's an open gate. Walk through only if your heart says yes. God loves cheerful givers, not fearful ones. Whether your contribution is a prayer, a click, a share, or a seed, heaven sees it all and multiplies it in unseen ways. Chosen one. Your motives are being refined so your blessings can multiply without measure. When you give from a clean heart, every coin becomes a covenant, every seed becomes a story, and every gesture becomes a gateway for grace. Like the wind carrying pollen that no one sees, your small act can birth unseen forests. So like, share, subscribe, or give not because you must, but because your heart knows light must travel. And if you ever wonder whether your smallest act matters, remember this, even dew refreshes a rose before the sunrise. Your like, your share, your donation, your subscription, each is a droplet sustaining the garden of souls still waiting to bloom. Heaven sees not the size of the gift, but the sincerity behind it. Every ripple of kindness you release moves unseen waves of blessing. When you give light, light circles back. When you pour, you are filled again, pressed down, shaken together, running over in grace. So, beloved chosen one, let your generosity be effortless, like breath. Let your giving be a song that never ends. Every seed you plant today will echo in eternity, shaping hearts, healing wounds, and keeping the flame of revelation alive for generations. Chosen one, when doors close suddenly, you often mistake it for rejection. But heaven knows that closed doors are not walls, they are redirections. God shuts what could harm you and seals what could sabotage your destiny. What you see as an ending is simply divine navigation. You're not being denied, you're being diverted toward a higher plan. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Every rejection has a reason. Every silence has a strategy. God closes doors because he can see behind them. You see the surface, but he sees the storm. You see the opportunity, but he sees the trap. The delay you cried over was divine protection wearing disguise. Chosen one. Sometimes the closed door is not the enemy, it's the escort. It guides you away from counterfeit comfort into genuine calling. If that relationship had stayed, your peace would have left. If that job had worked, your purpose would have wilted. God removes what distracts so he can reveal what directs. There is a wisdom that only comes from watching things not work out. It's in the slammed doors that you learn to trust his timing. You prayed for open paths, and he answered with divine detours. Every no was guarding your yes. Every goodbye was preparing space for better hellos. You may not see it now, but the closed doors are sacred gates to something unseen. Imagine a hallway dimly lit. You keep knocking on one locked door, unaware that the next one on your left is already open, waiting for you to turn. That is what heaven is doing, redirecting your steps before your understanding catches up. Chosen one. Stop mourning over doors that no longer open. God doesn't close doors to punish. He closes them to preserve. You prayed for his will, and this is what it looks like. Every no from man is a yes from mercy. Every closed door whispers, "You're closer than you think." You've been walking through seasons of confusion, wondering, why would God let this happen? But perhaps he is answering your prayer in disguise. Sometimes his greatest gifts are hidden in disappointments. He's not just preparing blessings for you, he's preparing you for the blessings. The shift that's happening right now is not random. Heaven is rearranging connections, opportunities, and alignments. You are being positioned for divine placement. The path may feel unfamiliar, but trust the one holding the map. The closed door is not your limitation, it's your liberation. Look back. Chosen one. How many times did you think something was ending, only to find it was beginning again in a better form? That pattern is divine proof. God never subtracts without multiplying later. He never removes without restoring. The doors that shut behind you are simply heaven's way of saying, forward only. Do not force what God has finished. Some doors remain closed because your future cannot fit through them. You've outgrown certain spaces, relationships, and seasons. The new requires release. Your next chapter can't start if you're still clinging to the doorknob of the old one. Chosen one. Let peace replace panic. Closed doors do not mean failure. They mean focus. Heaven is clearing the path. God is pruning distractions, cutting noise, simplifying your route. The very no that wounded you will one day make you whisper, "Thank you, Lord, for not letting that open." Every divine delay hides protection. Every locked gate hides preparation. When the right door opens, you will walk through it with clarity, not confusion, with strength, not struggle. It will not require striving, only stepping. What belongs to you will not pass you by, it will call your name. So, today, instead of asking, "Why me?" begin declaring, "God, I trust you," because trust transforms tears into testimony. When you trust the one who closes, you can rest knowing he's also the one who opens. If this word finds you in a season of closed doors, breathe deeply and know you're still in motion. Heaven's redirections are protection in disguise. Every exit leads to an entrance, and yours is near. Now, seal this truth with faith. Comment 444 below. That number represents divine stability. A reminder that your foundation is secure even when the path shifts. By typing it, you're declaring, "I trust God with the doors he opens and the ones he closes. Chosen one. The sound of your surrender reaches heaven louder than any complaint. The doors that closed were not a loss, they were leading you home. When you comment 444, you are aligning yourself with heaven's rhythm, declaring that stability is your new song. You're saying, even in shifting seasons, my faith stands firm, my roots remain deep, and my trust is unshakable. That single act is a prophetic gesture, a quiet agreement with divine timing. By typing 444, you announce that you no longer chase open doors, you wait for the ones anointed to open, confident that God's hand never locks what was meant for you. Chosen one. Deep within you, there is a war. It is not fought with swords or noise, but with whispers, the war between faith and fear. Every day, your spirit hears two voices. One speaks the language of heaven, saying, "You are chosen, equipped, unstoppable." The other echoes the doubt of darkness, whispering, "You are forgotten, unworthy, defeated." You stand between them, deciding which one will reign. According to what is revealed in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This verse is not just encouragement, it is instruction. Fear is not simply emotion, it is spiritual resistance. It seeks to suffocate the seed of faith before it can grow. When fear speaks, it tells you what could go wrong. Faith, however, reminds you what God already promised. Every moment you choose faith over fear, heaven records a victory in your name. Fear has many disguises. Sometimes it wears the mask of logic, telling you to play safe, to shrink your dream, to wait until it's perfect. Other times, it wears memory's face, reminding you of past mistakes, replaying failures as evidence that you cannot rise again. But faith looks at the same history and declares, "If God carried me through, then He will do it again." Chosen one. Fear is a fog. It distorts what's real, making shadows look larger than they are. Faith is the wind that clears it away. When you feel surrounded by uncertainty, remember, fear exaggerates danger, but faith exposes truth. What seems impossible to you is still effortless to heaven. You were never meant to live paralyzed by what-ifs. Fear will build prisons with invisible bars. It whispers that obedience will cost too much, that risk will ruin you, that stepping out means losing safety. But every hero of Scripture had to stand at this same crossroads. Abraham left home, not knowing the destination. Esther approached the throne, not knowing the outcome. Peter stepped onto water, not knowing if it would hold. Every act of faith began where comfort ended. The war inside you is not a sign of weakness, it's proof of worth. The enemy doesn't attack the ordinary, he attacks the anointed. He knows that if your faith stays alive, your future cannot be stopped. So he sends fear like arrows of illusion, trying to convince you that surrender is safer than standing. But heaven did not design you to retreat. You were built to rise. Chosen one. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to walk forward anyway. It's the courage to speak when your voice trembles, to believe when your eyes see nothing, to praise when your heart still aches. Faith is choosing to trust the author before reading the next chapter. Sometimes God allows the tension so you can learn your own strength. Without fear, faith would never flex. Without darkness, light would never shine. The struggle is shaping spiritual muscle. The same pressure that frightens you is forming you. Every moment you refuse to bow to fear, heaven crowns you with endurance. Do you remember the child who learns to walk? He stumbles, falls, and rises again. The ground doesn't mock him, it strengthens him. Likewise, heaven never condemns you for trembling. It celebrates that you stood again. Fear may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. Faith may feel small, but it still moves mountains. Each time your heart chooses faith, something shifts in the unseen. The atmosphere around you changes. Angels move at the sound of your belief. Doors respond to courage that speaks even through shaking lips. You are rewriting your spiritual story, one step of faith at a time. Do not despise the battle. It's making you brave. The war within you is proof that destiny is near. The closer you get to the promise, the louder fear will shout. But remember, the storm screams loudest right before it breaks. When fear rises, speak truth. When anxiety presses, whisper promise. Say within yourself, God is still here. Because He is. He never left. Even now, while your heart wrestles, His hand steadies you. Fear can roar, but faith will always roar louder. Chosen one. This is the holy collision inside you, the birthplace of courage. Let faith win today, even if it trembles. Every breath of belief is a declaration that the darkness cannot claim you. You are walking through the battlefield of your own soul, but the victory flag already bears your name. Hold fast. The war between faith and fear will not last forever. When the dust settles, you will stand stronger, clearer, braver, and as heaven watches, it will be written again. They did not bow to fear, they chose faith. And when that final whisper of fear fades, only faith will remain steady, radiant, unbreakable. You'll realize the battle was never to destroy you, but to define you, shaping you into the fearless vessel heaven always knew you'd become. Chosen one. There are moments when the air feels heavy, when exhaustion settles not just in your body, but in your soul. You've pushed, prayed, endured, and yet the breakthrough still seems to linger just beyond sight. You wonder if you've missed the moment, if perhaps the promise has passed you by. But listen closely. Strange opposition, weariness, and spiritual fatigue are not signs of failure. They are signals that you are closer than ever. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, from the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That verse is not simply comfort, it's confirmation. The weariness you feel is the final stretch before fulfillment. Heaven is not late. Heaven is layering. God is aligning events, people, and timing with precision. When the weight increases, it's because the blessing has substance. Light promises carry no resistance, but heavy ones test your endurance. The tension you feel is not evidence that God has forgotten you. It's proof that something is forming. A mother feels the greatest pain not in conception, but in delivery. So it is with you. Chosen one, you are in spiritual labor. The contractions of resistance are pushing your destiny into the world. You have faced delay, misunderstanding, and isolation. You've wondered why the attacks have intensified. It's because the closer light comes, the louder darkness becomes. The enemy does not waste energy on what isn't dangerous. You are too close to the promise for him to stay silent. So he throws distractions, doubts, and fatigue, hoping you will give up before you cross the line. But hear this, truth breakthroughs often come disguised as breakdowns. Right before the dawn, the night grows darker. Right before the seed sprouts, the soil feels still. When it seems nothing is happening, that is when heaven is moving the most. Chosen one, your heart may feel tired, but you are not alone in the struggle. Heaven is cheering you on, whispering strength into your spirit. You are walking through the narrowest part of the passage, the place where everything unnecessary falls away. Don't misread the pressure. It's not punishment. It's purification for promotion. The weariness you feel has purpose. It's heaven's way of reminding you to rely not on your own energy, but on divine strength. You've carried burdens that were never yours to keep. You've tried to fix what was meant to be surrendered. Let go now, not in defeat, but in trust. God is still in control. Even when your hands are trembling. Sometimes your spirit grows weary because you keep counting the days instead of measuring the growth. You think you're standing still, but every step in faith counts as movement. The path you've walked has been shaping endurance, patience, and resilience. These are the foundations of your next season. Chosen one, heaven has not forgotten the promise it whispered to you. The delay has not deleted the word, it's deepening it. You are being strengthened to carry what's coming. What God builds through endurance lasts longer than what comes through ease. Quick miracles may excite the moment, but patient miracles establish legacy. When your strength feels empty, remember, faith is not about feeling powerful. Faith is choosing to stand even when you feel powerless. The smallest flicker of belief can light an entire night. You don't need to roar, you just need to refuse to quit. Heaven moves not by noise, but by endurance. This exhaustion will not last forever. One morning soon, you will wake and realize the weight has lifted. The prayers that once felt unanswered will suddenly find voice. Doors will open where you least expected, and what felt delayed will appear right on time. The someday you've been holding on to will become today. Chosen one, the signs of nearing breakthrough are all around you. The restlessness, the spiritual sensitivity, the sudden shift in atmosphere, these are labor pains of destiny. You are moments away from manifestation. Do not measure by what you see, measure by what you sense. The Spirit knows when the season is shifting, even before the eyes can perceive it. Keep walking, even when the road feels long. Keep believing, even when answers hide. You are not failing, you are finishing. The exhaustion you feel is not the signal to stop, it's the signal to push one more time. There will come a moment when all the confusion makes sense, when every closed door reveals its purpose, and every tear becomes a testimony. You will see how heaven used even your fatigue as fuel for your faith. Chosen one, the finish line is closer than you think. Do not give up in the final stretch. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. Soon, you will look back and see that every weary step was sacred. What felt like endless waiting was quiet building. Heaven was strengthening your wings so that when the wind of breakthrough comes, you will soar effortlessly. Chosen one, every tear you've shed, every silent prayer you've whispered, Every sacrifice you thought no one saw, heaven has been keeping record. Nothing you've endured has been wasted. The unseen has been working on your behalf, turning pain into purpose, sorrow into strength, and tears into divine currency. What looked like loss was actually an investment in your destiny. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 4, "Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you openly." Those words are your proof. Heaven has a secret exchange system. Every unseen act of faith becomes a deposit in your spiritual account. Every yes when it hurt. Every "I trust you" when nothing made sense. Every time you loved instead of retaliating, all of it has been noticed. Your quiet obedience has been louder than 1,000 shouts. Chosen one, you are not empty. You are rich in unseen wealth. God has been collecting your faith like rare jewels. While others chase visible success, heaven is storing up invisible substance for you. There is a balance sheet in the spirit realm, and your account is overflowing with credit called faithfulness. This is the mystery of heaven's economy. What you lose on earth multiplies in eternity. What you release in surrender returns as abundance. The moments you thought broke, you were actually the ones that built you. Every sacrifice was seed, and the harvest is near. You've been walking through a divine exchange. Your pain was the currency, your endurance the investment, your obedience the signature on the contract. And now heaven is ready to release the return. The doors that stayed closed are about to open, not as doors but as floodgates. Chosen one, you may not see the ledger, but you can feel the shift. There's a sense that something is changing in the unseen. The same way clouds gather before rain, blessings are gathering around your name. They have been accumulating interest through every test you've passed. Every prayer you refuse to stop praying. Your reward is not coming, it's unfolding. Heaven doesn't rush. It matures blessings until they can be sustained. That's why you've waited. That's why you've been hidden. God was ensuring the promise wouldn't crush you but crown you. Look back for a moment. Every time you gave when it cost you something. Every time you chose forgiveness over revenge. Every time you obeyed in silence, you were trading temporary pain for eternal power. You thought you were losing, but you were investing in heaven's vault. The divine exchange is fair and faithful. What you hand to God never disappears, it transforms. What you surrender doesn't vanish, it multiplies. The enemy tried to convince you that obedience was useless. But obedience is the key that unlocks overflow. Chosen one, the weeping that watered your pillow will water your promise. The pain that pressed you will now produce purpose. You have built something in the unseen that can no longer be contained. Heaven is preparing a public release of what was privately earned. You will soon step into rooms that your integrity built. You will receive rewards that your perseverance purchased. The tears that once embarrassed you will become evidence of your divine partnership with heaven. For every season you sowed in silence, there will be a season of visible joy. So, if this word resonates in your spirit, take a moment and comment, "Heaven remembers." You are not typing words, you are declaring truth. You are aligning yourself with the promise that every hidden seed is coming into sight. By writing, "Heaven remembers," you acknowledge that God never forgets, never overlooks, and never fails to reward. Chosen one, your sacrifices are sacred currency. The exchange is already in motion. The waiting was never a waste, it was wealth being woven in secret. And now, the divine transaction is complete. Heaven remembers. And soon, the world will see why. When you comment, "Heaven remembers," you are declaring that your story is not forgotten in the archives of time. You are reminding both heaven and earth that your tears were not wasted, they were sown with intention, and they will rise again as harvest. Each letter you type becomes a testimony. It tells God, "I still believe you keep records even when the world overlooks me." That act of faith is not small, it shakes the unseen. Angels move when faith speaks. And your simple comment becomes a trumpet announcing, reward is on the way. By writing "Heaven remembers," you also silence the lie that your efforts were invisible. You are saying, "My Father saw it all, the late nights, the prayers, the sacrifices." You are aligning yourself with divine memory, stepping into a promise that can no longer be delayed. So write it boldly, not as routine but as revelation. Let your words rise as worship. When you say "Heaven remembers," you're not asking for attention, you're acknowledging the covenant. And in that acknowledgement, the exchange completes. What was once hidden will soon be revealed. Chosen one, the time has come for the veil to lift. What was once hidden is about to be revealed. You have walked through the fire, endured silence, and passed the test of motives. Now, heaven is ready to hand you the blueprints of kingdom wealth. This is not ordinary wealth. This is wisdom that wears gold. This is abundance with assignment. God is releasing strategies that will not only sustain you, but also bless generations through you. You were never meant to chase money. Money was meant to chase your mission. According to what is written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant." This is heaven's formula: power with purpose. God is teaching you to build without pride, to prosper without corruption, and to carry riches without being carried away by them. You will not hoard what He gives. You will channel it, turning resources into restoration for others. Chosen one. Wealth in the kingdom is not about luxury. It's about legacy. You are a steward, not a collector. The gold in your hand is meant to become light for others. Every idea, every business, every dream is a seed in God's garden, waiting for your yes to bloom. But even divine blueprints need builders. This message, this ministry, this movement, it is a spiritual construction site. Each time you engage, heaven lays another brick of truth. Every listener becomes part of the architecture. When you like, you strengthen the walls. When you share, you open another door for light to enter. When you subscribe, you help the structure rise higher, one soul, one revelation at a time. Think of this as a house of mirrors reflecting heaven's message. Every action you take, your attention, your time, your belief creates another reflection, another spark of light that helps someone else see themselves through divine eyes. And if your heart feels stirred to donate, let it be your quiet handshake with heaven. You are not paying for words, you are watering a well. Imagine travelers arriving thirsty, weary from their wilderness. Your seed ensures the well never runs dry. It's not about obligation, it's about overflow. You are helping love echo farther, touching hearts you may never meet until eternity. To give is to plant invisible trees whose shade will comfort souls you'll never see. You become a gardener in God's vineyard, nurturing fruit that outlives you. Your gift becomes wind for someone else's wings, oil for another's lamp, light for someone walking through shadow. And it doesn't have to be grand. Even a small offering, given with sincerity, becomes sacred. God multiplies motive more than measure. What matters most is that your giving flows from gratitude, not guilt. No one is required, everyone is invited. The beauty of kingdom generosity is that it carries freedom. It's a dance, not a debt. When you support this work through a like, a share, a subscription, or a donation, you are saying, I want this light to reach another heart like mine. You're not giving to a person, you're giving through purpose. You become part of a divine relay, passing the torch of revelation to someone standing in the dark, waiting for hope. Chosen one. Generosity is not losing, it's lending your strength to eternity. Heaven always returns what's given with clean hands and open hearts. It may not come back as coins, but it will return as peace, clarity, and unexpected favor. That's how divine currency flows. It circulates through compassion. If your spirit feels moved, follow that gentle pull. Like this message, share it. Subscribe for the next wave of wisdom, or sow a seed if your heart desires. Do it with joy. Do it because you see yourself as part of something living, something larger than any name or channel, something God Himself breathes through. Remember, the blueprints are not just for your wealth, they are for collective awakening. Every act of kindness, every offering of support, is another piece of the structure heaven is building through us. Soon, when others ask how the vision stood through storms, heaven will whisper your name among the builders. Because you didn't just listen, you lifted. You didn't just receive, you released. You didn't just hope, you helped. And one day, when this river of revelation reaches countless hearts, you'll look back and know you helped it flow. You were one of the hands that made light travel. Chosen one. That is the beauty of kingdom wealth. It grows not by holding tighter, but by letting go freely. Every act of generosity becomes a golden thread, weaving heaven's purpose through the fabric of humanity. And as you give, you'll discover the greatest secret of all. The more you pour out, the more heaven fills you again. And when you give, even quietly, heaven records the sound. It's not the amount that moves God, it's the echo of love behind it. Every seed sown becomes a sunrise in someone else's tomorrow. That is kingdom wealth. Chosen one. Listen, this moment carries the sound of chains snapping in the unseen. You can almost feel it in your spirit. Something ancient is ending. For too long, lack has followed your bloodline like a shadow that refused to rest. It wore many faces: scarcity, fear, survival, but its root was the same, a covenant of poverty that began before you ever breathed. But tonight, under heaven's gaze, it breaks. This isn't just about money. It's about mentality. It's about the silent agreements your ancestors made with struggle. The inherited belief that abundance was too high, that enough was the ceiling, that overflow belonged only to others. You were born to confront that lie and to burn it in the fire of truth. You are the generation of reversal, the one anointed to close doors your forefathers could not. The Spirit once spoke through the prophet Joel, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." That word still thunders now. The years consumed by fear, the opportunities devoured by doubt, the potential stolen by shame. God is restoring them through you. Restoration is not repayment, it's redemption. He is rewriting your family's spiritual economy. You, chosen one, are the divine interruption in your lineage. The curse that claimed your grandparents cannot cross you. The poverty that mocked your parents stops here. Heaven has declared bankruptcy over every spirit of lack attached to your name. You are now the bridge from generational burden to generational blessing. For years you've wondered why your battles felt heavier than others. It's because you were fighting for more than yourself. You have been the repairer of breaches, the rebuilder of ruins. While others inherited land or wealth, you inherited warfare, and you've been faithful in it. You've prayed through nights your family never survived, believed through droughts that should have drowned you. That faith has become the signature on a new covenant, one of divine provision and endless resource. Chosen one, understand, this poverty was never about empty pockets. It was about empty perspective. It taught your lineage to think small, to accept scraps, to survive instead of create. But heaven has enlarged your spirit. The same mind that once feared tomorrow now carries blueprints for nations. You are no longer a beggar at the gate. You are the gate. Through you, flow and favor will pass to many. This breaking is not loud, it's holy. It happens in the quiet when you finally stop calling yourself not enough. It happens when you stop apologizing for vision, when you dare to expect good things without guilt. Every time you say yes to purpose instead of fear, another link of the chain falls to dust. You are walking into a new spiritual economy. Ideas will come as currency. Creativity will pour like rivers. Wisdom will attract wealth naturally, because heaven trusts you now. You are not chasing riches. Riches are chasing assignment. What once trickled will now overflow. Not because you asked for more, but because you became more. Remember, abundance in the kingdom is not vanity, it's visibility. God prospers his chosen so the world can see what freedom looks like. You will build what your ancestors only dreamed of. You will own what once enslaved them. You will fund what they prayed for but could not begin. That's what breaking the poverty covenant means. It's not about storing gold. It's about restoring glory. Chosen one, walk differently now. Poverty taught you to look down. Wealth in the spirit teaches you to lift your eyes. The wilderness voice that said, "Don't expect too much," has been silenced. You carry permission to overflow. Every step you take sends ripples backward through time, redeeming the bloodline that birthed you. The tables have turned. The very systems that ignored you will soon seek your wisdom. The doors that refused you will open by their own hinges. What once mocked your faith will need your favor, because God has rewritten your family story, and your name has become a key. So, breathe. Chosen one, the air feels lighter because the chains are gone. The covenant of poverty has expired. A new decree has been signed in heaven's ink. Walk in it unapologetically, faithfully, freely. And when people ask how it ended, you'll simply smile and say, "It ended with me." You are not just a survivor, you are a sign that curses can crumble. Every step you take in faith writes freedom into your bloodline. Heaven calls your name the turning point of generations. Walk as one reborn. Speak as one who carries divine inheritance. Poverty was never your identity. Purpose is. Where lack once lived. Abundance now builds its altar of gratitude, and when you prosper, do it with humility. Remember, your overflow is not noise, it's nourishment. You are the evidence that God restores completely, beautifully, and beyond what history thought possible. Chosen one, the story has shifted forever. The bloodline, once chained to limitation, now dances in liberty. You are the proof that heaven still rewrites history, one yielded heart, one fearless act of faith at a time. Chosen one. There comes a moment when revelation arrives not as a whisper, but as a wave. After the years of testing, the waiting, the refining, the breaking, there comes an appointed hour when heaven unveils what it was preparing you for all along. You are standing on that threshold now. The season of hiddenness is ending. The hour of revelation has come. The prophet Daniel once wrote, "He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him." Those words are echoing over your life. Every unanswered prayer, every lonely night, every time you wondered if heaven still remembered your name, those were not wasted. They were being recorded, gathered, and refined until the moment the curtain would lift. And now, the Spirit whispers, this is that moment. Revelation does not come as lightning from the sky. It rises within you like dawn. Suddenly, the confusion of past seasons begins to make sense. You see that the delays were protection, that the silence was instruction, that even pain was prophecy in disguise. Heaven has been arranging your steps with divine precision, and the hourglass of waiting has turned. Chosen one. When revelation comes, it feels like breathing after being underwater. The same things that once frightened you now fill you with clarity. The people who misunderstood you will soon understand that the wilderness was not wasted. It was where you met the voice of destiny. You will realize that the breaking was never to destroy you. It was to shape you into the vessel that could carry the vision. God is about to illuminate what your spirit always knew, but your mind couldn't yet grasp. Hidden strategies, divine connections, and long-awaited confirmations are aligning. The plan was never random. Every season had an assignment. Every trial held a thread. The tapestry of your life, once tangled, is beginning to reveal its pattern of glory. Chosen one. You have graduated from guessing to knowing. Heaven is replacing confusion with clarity, fear with foresight, and hesitation with holy confidence. You will no longer stumble in uncertainty, you will walk in revelation. This light will not only guide you, it will guide others who follow in your wake. And as understanding unfolds, peace follows. You stop striving because you finally see the symmetry of God's plan. You stop chasing because what's yours begins to find you. You stop questioning because your heart recognizes the author's handwriting across every chapter of your story. The revelation is not about what you get, it's about what you become. You are transforming into the living proof that delay does not mean denial. Heaven waited for this moment when your faith would mature enough to see clearly, not just believe blindly. You now carry the wisdom to hold what once would have overwhelmed you. There is a weight to revelation. It carries responsibility. God reveals only to those he can trust. The truth unveiled to you will demand action, discipline, and obedience. The same light that blesses also exposes, ensuring that what's built upon it will stand strong and pure. Chosen one. You are stepping into divine understanding that will set others free. Your voice will carry insight. Your hands will build solutions. Your life will reflect divine alignment. Heaven is shining through you now, not for display, but for direction. This is your appointed hour of revelation. It is not coming tomorrow, it is unfolding now. Look closely, and you'll see the fingerprints of God on everything around you. Listen closely, and you'll hear heaven's rhythm in your own heartbeat. You are standing in the place where prophecy meets fulfillment, where mystery turns to manifestation. The same fire that once tested you now lights your path. If your spirit bears witness to this word, type 222 inches, the comments below. That number carries the meaning of divine alignment, double confirmation, and the perfect unfolding of God's timing. When you write 222, you are saying, I align with revelation. I am ready to see clearly and walk boldly in what heaven reveals. Chosen one, the wait is over. The light has arrived. Step forward, not with fear, but with the assurance that the God who prepared you is now presenting you. The hour of revelation is here, and the next door has already begun to open. When you comment 222, you're declaring that your spirit stands in rhythm with divine order. It's a sacred yes to heaven's blueprint, a signal that your eyes are ready to see what your faith always believed. Each number is a key, unlocking awareness. 222 isn't superstition, it's synchronization. It means heaven's timing and your obedience now move together, like two wings of the same eagle rising higher into clarity. So, write it with reverence. Let your comment be a covenant between your heart and the heavens above. You're not typing digits, you're inscribing destiny, affirming that you are ready, awake, and aligned for the revelation unfolding before you. Chosen one, when abundance begins to flow, the world will watch to see what you do with it. Wealth, once released, is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your stewardship. For what heaven places in your hand carries more than material value. It carries spiritual weight. Prosperity is both a promise and a test. The question is not, will you prosper? But how will you handle what comes? According to the writings in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48, it is written, from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. These words are not meant to burden you, but to remind you that divine favor always travels with divine responsibility. God has not brought you this far only to fill your hands. He has filled your hands so you can heal others. The wealth that is coming to you carries an assignment. It will not just change your life, but the lives orbiting yours. Chosen one, stewardship is sacred. It is the art of carrying heaven's abundance with humility and purpose. To steward well means to remember the source even when the streams multiply. It means to let your blessings become bridges, not trophies. Wealth is not ownership, it is partnership. You are not the keeper of fortune, you are the channel through which it flows. When the overflow arrives, it will test the structure of your heart. The same humility that kept you grounded in lack must remain when overflow begins. Do not allow riches to speak louder than revelation. Money makes noise, wisdom makes melody. Let your decisions sing of balance, compassion, and gratitude. Stewardship also means discernment, knowing when to spend, when to sow, and when to stand still. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every door is destiny. The enemy knows he cannot curse what God has blessed, so he distracts the blessed with excess. But you, chosen one, have been trained in the wilderness. You know the difference between favor and flattery, between purpose and performance. As the streams of wealth flow, remember to rest your eyes on the giver, not the gift. Gratitude is the compass that keeps your spirit oriented toward truth. When you wake each day, remind yourself that every resource in your hand is a tool for transformation. You were not chosen to hoard, you were chosen to host. The blessing upon you is communal, not competitive. Through your faithfulness, others will see that divine wealth is not vanity, but virtue when managed with love. You will show that prosperity and purity can coexist, that success can be spiritual when built on surrender. There will be moments when the world will tempt you to measure worth by possession, but heaven's measure is different. In God's economy, generosity is the true currency. The more you release, the more you reveal His character through your actions. Stewardship is worship in motion. It's how gratitude breathes. Chosen one, understand this. Your hands are instruments of mercy now. What they hold will heal, build, and bless. Through you, provision will travel into places famine once ruled. You will become an answer to the prayers of others. And as you pour, you will never run dry. For divine flow always returns to its faithful channels. Stewardship also means legacy. You are planting seeds for generations yet unborn. The decisions you make today will echo tomorrow, teaching those who follow you how to handle abundance without losing awe. The greatest inheritance you can leave behind is not wealth itself, but the wisdom to walk with it humbly. When you handle what heaven gives with reverence, your influence grows quietly but steadily. You become a lighthouse in a sea of greed, guiding others toward generosity, showing that true prosperity never corrupts, it consecrates. This new level of wealth will reveal your growth. Where once you prayed for survival, now you will pray for strategy. Where once you feared loss, now you will focus on legacy. God's trust in you will become tangible through every door you open for others. So, carry your crown carefully. Chosen one, let it remind you not of superiority, but of service. The more you rise, the deeper your roots must reach into humility. Every coin, every opportunity, every door that opens is a chance to reflect heaven's order on earth. This is the call of stewardship, to walk in abundance without arrogance, to hold wealth without letting it hold you, to remember that the gold in your hand was never meant for display, but for destiny. Chosen one, you are not merely blessed, you are entrusted, and in that trust lies both the beauty and burden of your calling. Handle it well, for through your stewardship, the world will glimpse the heart of God. Chosen one, let your wealth become worship. Every act of kindness, every seed of generosity, every decision made with integrity becomes incense rising to heaven. Stewardship is your song, now soft, steady, sacred, and seen by the one who gave it all. Chosen one, every table prepared by God carries both invitation and revelation. When He promised to bless you in the presence of your enemies, it wasn't to humiliate them, it was to highlight His faithfulness. The banquet of breakthrough is never about revenge, it's about recognition. God sets the table not for you to boast, but for them to see that He was with you all along. We find this truth in the words of David, who wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." That verse is not a song of pride, it is a declaration of peace. God does not prepare a meal in chaos. He waits until the battle is over, until the noise fades, until your heart has learned rest. Then, in silence, He lays the feast. You sit not as a survivor, but as a successor. The very ones who spoke against you will watch you shine, not because you sought vengeance, but because you chose obedience. Chosen one. The enemies that once mocked your struggle are not the focus, they are the witnesses. Your victory will speak louder than your defense ever could. God does not need you to explain, He needs you to exemplify. Every insult thrown became an ingredient in your anointing. Every betrayal became a seasoning for your table. The bitterness you endured has been transformed into the flavor of wisdom. This table, this moment of increase, is sacred. It's not merely a celebration, it's a coronation. You are being seated in visibility, not to flaunt but to fulfill. The oil poured on your head is not for decoration but for designation. You were always meant to rise, but God waited until your heart could rise without hate. That's what makes this banquet holy. You see, enemies are not just people, they are patterns, systems, and spirits that tried to break you. Some wore faces, others hid in fear, doubt, and shame. But they all had one goal, to silence the song within you. They failed. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still believing, is the greatest evidence of divine preservation. You didn't win by fighting harder, you won by surrendering deeper. Chosen one, the table before you is proof that God's promises never expire. It is also a mirror reflecting your growth. You once prayed for their downfall, now you pray for their deliverance. That is what elevation does. It transforms how you see those who hurt you. You no longer need them to lose for you to rise. Grace has taught you that mercy is greater than mockery. The table represents completion. It's where your process meets your promise, where your pain meets your purpose. The oil flowing from your head is proof that heaven's endorsement has arrived. No degree, no title, no network could have produced what your endurance birthed. You were refined in the fire so that when you arrived here, you would not crumble under favor. Look around. Chosen one. Everything that once worked against you has now become part of your testimony. The stones thrown at you have turned into pillars of remembrance. The storms meant to scatter, you have gathered your strength instead. You are not just eating at this table, you are embodying what perseverance tastes like. This moment isn't about proving your worth, it's about displaying God's. The feast before you is divine poetry, every dish a story, every cup a covenant. The oil that runs over symbolizes the abundance of grace, the overflow that cannot be contained. You have become a vessel too large for scarcity, too deep for despair. Chosen one. The presence of your enemies no longer stings, it sanctifies. Their attendance validates your process. They see now that your endurance was not stubbornness, it was faith. And faith, when fully grown, becomes fruit. That fruit is what you now serve at this divine table. Forgiveness seasoned with wisdom, peace garnished with purpose, love plated with light. You have stepped into the season of visible victory, but let humility remain your posture. The same God who prepared this table for you also prepares tables for others. Stay grateful. Stay gentle. Feast without forgetting where the bread came from. Drink without losing sight of who filled your cup. Your enemies will witness your restoration, but heaven will witness your worship. That's the difference between vindication and victory. One seeks applause, the other seeks alignment. And you, chosen one, have chosen alignment. So sit, eat, rest. Let peace be your portion and gratitude your dessert. You no longer need to explain what God is doing. The table speaks for itself, and the oil upon you tells the story better than words ever could. Chosen one, this table is eternal evidence that grace wins quietly. You didn't need revenge, you needed restoration. And now heaven has served it, seasoned with mercy, overflowing with purpose. Eat slowly, breathe deeply. Every blessing here carries memory and meaning. This feast isn't reward for battle, it's recognition of who you became through it. Chosen one, the moment you have been shaped for has arrived. You have crossed through fire, silence, and storms, and now the crown fits. This is the rise of the kingdom millionaire. But do not mistake this for mere riches. This is about divine reign. It is the season where God trusts you to carry both gold and glory, purpose and prosperity. The Apostle Paul once wrote in the second letter to the Corinthians, "You will be enriched in every way, so that you can be generous on every occasion. And through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God." This is your calling, not simply to have, but to heal. The wealth that finds you now is not decoration, it's delegation. Heaven is entrusting you with resources to restore what pain once dismantled. Your hands are no longer empty, they are instruments of provision. Chosen one, you are rising not as a collector of things, but as a carrier of change. Wealth in your life will no longer whisper status, it will sing purpose. You will build with vision, give with compassion, and live with open hands. For the kingdom millionaire knows that true abundance does not hoard, it flows. As your name begins to shine, remain anchored. Remember that visibility is not vanity, it's responsibility. You are a lighthouse now. And lighthouses do not compete with darkness, they simply keep shining. Every project, every business, every dream that carries your fingerprint will point upward, not inward. The world will call it success. Heaven will call it stewardship. You will fund missions others only dream of. Sustain voices that once echoed unheard, and lift those who still walk in shadows. This is not money, it is mercy made tangible. Now, pause for a moment and breathe. Feel what's stirring in your chest, that quiet gratitude, that gentle awareness that you are part of something greater. That's where the calling deepens. When you like this message, it's like lighting a candle in a cathedral where others have lost their way. One small flame can reignite 1,000 hearts. When you share, imagine yourself as the wind carrying embers of hope to faraway souls who have forgotten that they too are chosen. Your action becomes air for another's fire. When you comment, imagine you're etching your name into the marble of this temple of truth. Your words aren't noise, they're echoes that remind heaven and earth that light still lives here. Each comment becomes a candle flickering beside another, turning solitude into sanctuary. To subscribe is to anchor your spirit near this river of revelation. It means you've chosen to return to the flow that keeps faith alive in a noisy world. Each time you come back, you drink again from the stream that reminds you who you are. And if your heart ever feels led to donate, let it be your seed of gratitude, not obligation. Giving is not payment, it's participation. It's like adding another brick to the sanctuary where wounded hearts come to rest. You are helping build something sacred, invisible yet eternal. You are joining a story written in light. Chosen one. Generosity is the language of kingdom millionaires. It doesn't speak in numbers, it speaks in nourishment. A simple act, offered with love, becomes a ripple that touches shores unseen. Heaven always multiplies what is given from the heart. Every time you bless, heaven breathes through your action. Every time you support, God writes your name into the margins of someone else's miracle. That is the economy of grace. The giving hand never empties, but let it all remain voluntary, effortless, sacred. The purest giving is not urged by guilt, but moved by gratitude. Whether your act today is a word of encouragement, a small seed of generosity, or even a whisper of prayer, it counts. Each one is a thread woven into the divine fabric that wraps this entire movement in light. You are not being asked, you are being invited. You are not being persuaded, you are being positioned. For when you align your resources, time, and voice with purpose, everything multiplies naturally. So, like if this flame warmed you, share if you want another heart to feel its glow, comment to leave your light among ours, subscribe if you want to journey further into revelation, and give if your spirit longs to water what has watered you. Do it not because you must, but because it's beautiful, because giving back is how heaven breathes through us. Chosen one, this is your coronation season. You have been faithful in the valley, now you will be fruitful on the mountain. Wear your crown lightly, carry your wealth wisely, and walk knowing that generosity is your truest jewel. Your hands have become heaven's hands now. Every act, every seed, every share is a note in the song of divine restoration. Keep that melody playing, and the world will hear heaven through you. And as the melody rises, heaven listens. Every heartbeat, every act of giving, every shared light becomes part of a grander symphony, one written by God, performed through you, echoing endlessly in eternity. Chosen one, you have entered the realm of multiplication. Everything your hands touch now carries the scent of divine expansion. What once felt small and fragile will begin to stretch beyond your expectations. This is the mantle of multiplication, the proof that when heaven breathes upon something, even a seed can feed nations. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 90, verse 17. May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. That prayer is being answered in you. God is establishing, not merely blessing, the work of your hands. What you build now will not fade with seasons. It will stand as testimony. You are no longer laboring for survival. You are creating for generations. Chosen one. Multiplication begins quietly. It starts when gratitude turns into creativity. When you stop counting losses and start counting lessons. Heaven multiplies not through striving, but through stewardship. You have proven faithful in the little. And now heaven calls you to govern the greater. The soil you once wept over is now fertile. Every tear you shed watered the ground for the harvest you're about to gather. This is not addition, it is acceleration. God is redeeming time, restoring years, and amplifying your reach. What took others decades will take you days, not because of speed, but because of alignment. You are no longer moving in your own rhythm, you are flowing with divine timing. When heaven moves through you, everything multiplies: vision, favor, influence, and grace. Multiplication is not random, it is relational. God increases what reflects his heart. The more you mirror his nature, the more you attract expansion. Compassion becomes magnetism. Humility becomes momentum. The miracle of multiplication always follows the miracle of surrender. Chosen one. Your story now mirrors the feeding of the multitudes. What you carry may seem small in your hands, but once you place it in God's, it multiplies beyond logic. A word spoken in faith feeds thousands of hearts. A small act of kindness ignites generations. A single moment of obedience rewrites the future. You are stepping into a rhythm where little becomes much, because love is the multiplier. You've stopped striving to make things happen. Now they happen through you. You've learned that heaven's math is mysterious. When you release, you increase. When you serve, you soar. When you yield, you rise. There was a time when you questioned your capacity. You thought your voice too quiet, your resources too few, your dream too distant. But heaven saw the potential hidden in your obedience. What you saw as not enough, God saw as just right. He delights in multiplying the surrendered, not the strong. He looks for hearts, not hands. And now, chosen one, you are seeing the evidence unfold. Doors that once seemed impossible are opening with ease. Ideas you abandoned are reawakening with fire. People you once prayed for are finding their way back to you, not for closure, but for collaboration. This is what happens when the mantle of multiplication rests upon a life fully yielded. But remember, multiplication is not merely for your comfort, it is for his covenant. What grows under your care is meant to reflect his generosity. You are not the endpoint of blessing, you are the conduit. As he multiplies your influence, let it be known that your heart remains anchored in purpose, not possession. The mantle upon you demands maturity. Multiplication without humility turns harvest into chaos. But you, chosen one, have been refined for this. You've learned the weight of waiting and the beauty of balance. You know that increase without wisdom is waste, and opportunity without discernment is danger. That wisdom now protects your overflow. Everything around you is responding to your obedience. Heaven's favor is fertile ground. Whatever you plant now grows quickly. But guard your garden. Not every hand that applauds is meant to harvest beside you. Protect the soil of your peace and the purity of your purpose. Multiplication without boundaries invites depletion. Chosen one, this season is your divine expansion. What you pour out will replenish faster than before. Your prayers will travel further. Your words will heal deeper. Your work will reach higher. You have become a living vessel of overflow, a walking miracle of momentum. But above all, stay grateful. Gratitude is the gatekeeper of grace. The more thankful you are, the wider heaven opens. The greater your appreciation, the stronger your acceleration. Gratitude anchors growth so that favor never turns into pride. The mantle of multiplication is not loud, it is luminous. It shines through every part of your life quietly, steadily, beautifully. What once was scarce now multiplies effortlessly, not by might, nor by power, but by the Spirit within you. Chosen one, lift your eyes. What you see multiplying around you is only the beginning. You are living proof that surrender creates increase, that obedience births overflow, and that a yielded heart becomes heaven's most fertile field. Chosen one. When the story nears completion, heaven always writes a quiet chapter of reflection. This is where revelation turns into remembrance, where everything you've learned begins to settle like gold dust upon your spirit. You have walked through fire and not been consumed, through flood and not drowned. You have been broken, built, and now beautifully balanced. This final season is not about striving anymore, it's about resting in what God has already made complete. As the prophet Jeremiah declared in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Those words are no longer promises you wait, for they are realities you walk in. Every trial, every loss, every delay was stitched together into this design. Nothing was wasted, not even the moments that felt meaningless. The tapestry of your life has been turned, and you now see the pattern from heaven's side. What once looked tangled is now breathtakingly precise. Chosen one. This is the era of divine stillness, not the stillness of emptiness, but of fulfillment, the kind of peace that hums quietly beneath the noise of the world. It's the moment when striving fades, and the spirit finally exhales. You have become what you once prayed to become: whole, wise, and unwavering. Rest is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of mastery. You now move with grace, not urgency. You no longer chase what was never yours, nor fear losing what was divinely assigned. You are learning the rhythm of heaven, the gentle pulse of enough. That's what peace sounds like when it sings through a soul that finally trusts. Look around. Chosen one. What once seemed barren now blooms quietly. The promises of old have matured into fruit. Relationships that were stripped bare have regrown with honesty and balance. The mind that once battled storms now stands like still water, clear enough to reflect the face of God. This is not the end, it's the equilibrium. The beauty of this season is subtle. It doesn't shout, it shines. You begin to notice grace in details, the warmth of morning light, the stillness before sleep, the laughter of those who stayed through your storms. Heaven speaks most clearly in moments like these, not through thunder, but through tenderness. You are learning that destiny was never a destination, it was a becoming. You didn't arrive somewhere, you became someone. The wealth that came wasn't just financial, it was spiritual, emotional, relational. You are rich in wisdom, abundant in discernment, overflowing in peace. The millionaire mantle you carry is not a crown of coins, it is a crown of clarity. Chosen one. The final revelation is this: God was never leading you to something external. He was leading you inward to Himself. Every blessing, every lesson, every trial was designed to refine your awareness of His presence. The greater the fire, the clearer the reflection. You were never being tested for approval, You were being transformed for intimacy. Now you understand that true success is measured by serenity, that the most powerful souls are the ones who no longer need to prove anything. You don't strive to shine, you simply stay aligned. Your peace has become your proof. The next chapters of your life will write themselves with ease. You no longer force outcomes, you flow into them. Heaven's hand is upon your shoulder, guiding you gently toward greater impact. But without strain, what you've built will outlast you, and the light you carry will continue to multiply long after your voice goes quiet. Chosen one. The world will notice the difference in you, not by your words, but by your stillness. You walk slower now, but surer. You speak less, but every word carries weight. You give more, but it costs you nothing because you've learned that love never subtracts, it multiplies in motion. Let gratitude be your language. Let peace be your signature. Let the grace that raised you now rest upon all that you touch. You are no longer just a recipient of miracles, you are one. You are the living evidence that what God begins, He completes. What He promises, He performs. And so, this is where the story rests. The throne room applauds in silence, for heaven's masterpiece is finished, not with a shout, but with a sigh of completion. The kingdom millionaire stands crowned, not by wealth, but by wisdom. Chosen one. Your assignment continues beyond words. Carry what you've received into the world quietly, faithfully, and freely. Be the calm in chaos, the light in shadow, the whisper of heaven that reminds others the plan was always peace. You are not waiting for the next miracle, you have become one. Chosen one. Peace now surrounds you like armor made of light. The storms no longer scare you because you've learned to carry the calm within. Heaven lives quietly in you now. Walk forward softly but surely. Each step you take hums with divine rhythm. Every breath reminding creation that purpose fulfilled is the purest form of praise. Chosen one. The story now exhales. The journey that began in testing has ended in triumph. You've walked through valleys of shadow, climbed mountains of revelation, and stood beneath the rain of restoration. What began as fire has become light. Heaven has finished its sentence, and your name was the final word. But this ending is not farewell. It is invitation. You've been entrusted with the flame, now carry it forward. When you light this message, it's as if you breathe gently on that flame, keeping it alive for another searching soul. When you share, imagine your hands releasing a lantern into the night sky. Somewhere, someone in darkness will look up, see its glow, and remember that hope still travels. When you comment, you're not leaving words, you're leaving fingerprints. Your voice joins countless others, a chorus of light declaring, "We were here, and we believed." When you subscribe, it's like returning to a sacred river you've drunk from before. The current will carry you again, deeper each time, filling your spirit with fresh strength and calm clarity. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, let it be your way of placing one more stone in the cathedral of light we're building together. Every seed given becomes another spark in the constellation of purpose, a reminder that even quiet generosity can echo across eternity. No pressure, no demand, only beauty. Give because it feels like breathing. Share because light longs to travel. Support because your spirit says yes. Chosen one. This story may close here, but its resonance lives on in you, through you, around you. Keep walking in the radiance you found. Keep shining where darkness once ruled. The crown fits, the fire burns, and heaven smiles.